we got brother or Dr. Munir Qasim to take care of that, and we rented the auditorium at Fanshawe College and started a weekly gathering there on Sunday. And that's really how the initial step by this small group of people to do something and make a change. Mm-hmm. From there on, it started basically, look, we need to do something more permanent. We can't keep going to Fanshawe every weekend. So we started looking for options, whether we build, we looked for land, or do we buy a property. And the same group of brothers who started meeting in the mall at that time, we decided to form an association or a group, and elected at that time Brother Hani Shawshar as the first president of that group. But the Islamic Center wasn't in the picture at that time. It was basically the person to lead the group and manage it. And then after Hani, Brother Yahya Amara was the president. And then after him, they asked me to chair that group, and which I was glad to do. I'm not sure really whether that took maybe a year or something around that time, a year and a half between the Fanshawe and the meetings casually. Then one of the brothers came up with the idea of, let's focus on buying a property. And Hani Shawshar spotted this building particularly was on the market for sale, and but it was too expensive for any of us to be able to buy it. So it was really strange, but I guess Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to help us get here where we started. And every step we took, it materialized so fast, both from the financial side as well as the option to buy the building. And that by itself is a very interesting story of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala planned it for us, so that we end up here. The prime mover behind buying the building, when the building was identified as being available, was Brother Qadri Mustafa, bless his soul. And he definitely felt that we should buy it. And he really went around the community members soliciting funds and loans and so on, and donations. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us, but he also passed before we bought the building. So we always refer to him as being the man behind the dream, but I'm sure he knows we were successful. From day one, established an open policy here. We said, this is a mosque for people who want to learn. We don't expect people who walk in, they already know everything. And because of that, we're not going to put rules and conditions on them. So anybody who's willing to come and listen and learn is welcome. We never ask you, are you Muslim or not? We never ask you, what sect are you? You're welcome to come and listen. And if you respect the rules, you're welcome. And that's how it started.
So how was the reception, I guess I would say with the young people, for a khutbah, like a Jummah prayer to happen, and the khutbah would be in Arabic and English? How was it accepted by the people who came here, like the congregation?
So the communication was obviously two ways. It wasn't really, Arabic only. But at the same time, we started Sunday school and teaching him Arabic from day one, because we believe that the kids should learn Arabic so that they can understand and their own religion. When you read the Quran, you should understand what you're reading. But to teach them Islam generally, we cannot wait until they learn Arabic. So we have to get them to understand their religion with the language that they can understand best. And most of our kids, our second generation Canadians, are English speaking. So not only that, but the majority of Muslims in the world are non-Arabs. So this is a fact, and we can't deny that you really need to speak the language of the people and then teach them religion, not the other way around. Don't teach, focus on Arabic first.
To the Muslim View. My name is Rania Saleh and I'm going to be your host today. Today we are recording our show from inside the London Islamic School. Since the beginning of October, students here have been actively raising money for the Syrian Refugee Fund to help sponsor Syrian refugee families to come to London. To make it fun and challenging, students have decided to take part at the Red Tape Challenge. This challenge was initiated by the London activist and the founder of the Jesse's Journey Foundation, John Davidson. Now we have with us Mr. John Davidson. Mr. Davidson is the founder of the Jesse's Journey Foundation and the author of the book, The Right Road. Hello, Mr. Davidson. Thank you for being with us on the show, The Muslim View.
My pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for having me.
So today you visited for the first time the London Islamic School. What was your experience today?
Well, I think it's always great to be where there are lots of kids and lots of excitement, and I know your message this month, the virtue you've been talking about, is cooperation, and it's always great to see when kids want to cooperate, and they're all shooting by us right now, and they're being nice and quiet, so you can see they're cooperating very much, so they obviously got the message, and their teachers have done a good job in passing that on to them.
So, Mr. Davidson, you initiated several months ago the Red Tape Challenge. What was your hope behind this challenge?
Well, what I was trying to do is to get across the message that it's time to give Canadians an opportunity to do something that they want to do right now to make a difference in people's lives. And the Red Tape Challenge is pretty simple. I've asked people simply to, with the church that they belong to, or the synagogue or the mosque or wherever they may be, to go ahead and take some red tape, some red duct tape, which is very Canadian, and just rip that tape in half, put it on your backpack, put it on your car, put it on the tree in your front lawn, put it wherever you want where people will see it, and let people know that you have spoken with your heart, you've spoken with your wallet, and you're making a difference in helping those people who are in real trouble. And Canadians are good at stepping forward and helping people who have a real challenge in trying to find a safe, secure environment. And I think that we're going to see changes coming along very quickly now, and people will begin arriving here, and I'm sure they'll become part of the fabric of Canada, and that's good for all of us.
Mr. Davidson, at the beginning, I introduced you as the founder of the Jesse's Journey Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about this foundation?
Yes. My son Jesse had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and a number of years ago I decided that what we really needed was research, and so Jesse and I set out across Ontario, and we raised about $1.5 million at that time, and then I decided that what we really need is an endowment that will fund research all the time. And in order to do that, I set out to walk across Canada, which was a challenge in itself. Not the Red Tape Challenge, but it was a big challenge. And we have since gone on to raise in total about $20 million since we started. And we're now able to give out what Jesse and I always dreamt about. We've been able to give out $1 million a year to fund research. We started that a long time ago when we first set out. That was our objective. And we're happy to have reached that first plateau, and we're just going to keep going from there because there's a lot of research that needs to be done.
That sounds great. Mr. Davidson, thank you for taking the time to be with us on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. It's always great to be here. As I said, where there's lots of kids, and I'm sure the audience can hear, there's lots of kids and lots of noise. So we hope you were able to hear our message as well.
And now we have the principal of the London Islamic School, Mr. Nader. Thank you for being with us on the show.
Thank you for being here.
So, Mr. Nader, let me ask you this question. Why did your school decide to take part at this fundraising initiative?
Well, as an Islamic institution, it's incumbent upon us to be part of any initiative that helps Muslims and human beings wherever they are. So this is why we decided to be part of this initiative.
And what do you hope the students will learn from that?
Well, we always tell our students to be compassionate. So being part of this initiative will help advance this goal of the school, because compassion is the way to everything else. If you're not compassionate, then it doesn't matter who you are and where you are.
Well, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Nader.
Thank you for being here today, and thank you for the interest.
We have Miss Yasmin Kari, the JK teacher. Thank you to be on the show, Yasmin.
Thank you for having me.
So, Yasmin, we're going to ask you a few questions in regards to the Red Tape Challenge. Now, you are the JK teacher. You have children aging about 4 to 5. So it's kind of challenging to explain to those kids the cause behind this fundraiser. How do you explain that to them?
Well, we started out by, talking about, the things that we have and the things that we're fortunate to have, such as a home, food, clothing, and we related that to them and all the things that we are fortunate in having. And then we reflected on the kids that, are less fortunate around the world, such as the Syrians in the refugee camps that don't have a school to go to and don't have a home because it was destroyed, or, they don't have a mom or a dad. So they felt compassion and caring towards the less fortunate.
What's your name?
Amani,
What grade are you?
grade 7.
And Amani, do you know how much your class has raised so far?
Yeah, around $204.
That's great. And do you feel motivated? Do you feel your classmates are motivated to keep going?
I think they are. Pretty much everybody has donated, and it feels great to be helping somebody else somewhere else.
That is great. And what's your name?
Azhar.
And what grade are you?
I'm in grade 8.
Now I know that your class and your teacher has put something together. Can you say what it is?
As a class, we created this big thermometer to keep track of how much money we raised and what our goal is.
And do you know what your goal is?
Our main goal is just to help the Syrian refugees come to Canada.
And how do you guys feel taking part at this fundraiser?
It feels great because we hear on the TV and the news what they're going through, and we really want to help.
And how do you feel taking part at this fundraiser?
Well, I just feel lucky that I'm privileged enough to even be able to give money.
Well, you guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. We thank you all for coming to this presentation. We really would like to extend our appreciation to the Muslim community and the greater London community for having effect on a young lad who has grown to be a man now and who is showing concerns to establish some sort of service that can reach out to different people within the community. And this is something, and this is an example I think that we cherish. So we thank the Kadri family, first of all, for raising a good, healthy young boy of sound mind. I think of sound mind, is that correct? Okay. And we thank you all for attending. The London Muslim Mosque and the Islamic Center have been working in coordinating efforts with the Kadri family. And every year the Kadri family sit down and discuss where they feel services are required within a certain area within the community. So they'll sit down and say, this year we want to work on a specific service. So they choose three main sponsors or three main charities. So this year they chose the Muslim Resource Center, Marymount Family Support in Crisis, and of course everybody knows the London Food Bank. We would first like to thank the sponsors. Mr. McDonald from Siskins is here, and he's always at the front line. Scotiabank and Dove Center are always involved in the same activities and in other activities other than the golf function. We want to thank all of the sponsors here, and London is rich. London has many people who want to hold and reach out their hand, and we have many people here, as we did last year and the year before. So the Nazim Kadri Golf Tournament has been going on for the past 3 years, and every year we're finding an increase in people who want to reach out and hold their hands. And we thank again for the last time Nazim Kadri for putting the effort to reach out and to gather people who want to support these services. We're going to start out with the Muslim Resource Center. This is Mohammed Ba'ubaid, and he's the head of the Muslim Resource Center. If Nazim can bring the check up. So what has happened this year is that we've divided the funds that were raised into 3 different categories and 3 different charities. So every charity got approximately $35,000. What was raised was approximately $160,000 from this golf tournament. This is an outstanding amount. The London Food Bank is powerful in sending a powerful message in the city, in reaching out and providing people who are in need the food that is required. The minor things that people need for nutrition is very important. So we'd like Ms. Jane Roy, who's representing the London Food Bank, to come and accept this gift today. Social services is very important in the City of London, and reaching out again from the Marymount Foundation is Miss Elder, Miss Francie Elder, please.
Just kind of want to reiterate what Marley was saying. Thank you everybody for coming out today for such a great cause, especially the title sponsors, Siskins, Scotia, and Dove. Every single year it seems like you guys are supporting us, and obviously to the charities, London Food Bank, Marymount, and the Muslim Resource Center. I've been fortunate enough to be put in this position, and really it's my privilege and my honor to be able to do something good for the community, not only my community, but everyone around it. And really, I couldn't have done it by myself. The committee's been great. I've been blessed to have a great family and great support staff behind me. So, like I said before, I just really show up and play golf. Everyone around here is, paying for the foursomes and organizing the tournaments, and it's not like it's something you do a month before the tournament. It goes on year round, and I'm pretty sure they're already starting to plan next year's tournament already. So take it easy, take a load off, it's okay. But it just shows how hard they work, and like I said, it's a privilege, it's an honor for me to be able to do something good, and it's something that's really close to my heart and I care about. So again, thank you for coming, and inshallah we have more successful years to come.
Some people weren't able to make it today, and amongst them was, I'm sure you all know Sam Kadri. Sam Kadri is a good friend and brother, and we know him and his family, Yasmin, Haysam, of course, his great mother, and the rest of the family. And we know them to be good and peaceful in conduct and reaching out to everybody that comes their way. And this is something that is part of their nature even before Nazim became a popular hockey player. They used to reach, and I know their father And his grandfather, Nazim, was key at making sure that his neighbors and the people around him were treated like human beings, and they thanked everybody around them. So this is part of the service that Nazim is applying, that was taught to him by his father and by his grandfather.
Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Canada. I am happy in London. There are a lot of things to hear for the kids and the men and women. There's so much things to play or work in Canada. I'm happy really much.
Welcome to Canada, and I'm so glad to see you. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of food to eat, and your life will be new, and your life will be good.
Welcome to Canada. It's a peace place with no wars, and lots of fun, lots of happiness, and lots of food.
I want them to be happy and to have lots of friends at our school.
Welcome to London.
Assalamu alaikum, my friends. Welcome to Canada.
We hope that you feel welcomed, and we're happy to have you here.
Welcome to Canada.
Welcome all the Syrian refugees to Canada, and I hope you have fun and a safe living environment.
Welcome to Canada.
It's a safe country, a fun country, and it's just probably the best country.
Welcome to Canada.
Get to meet one day and maybe talk a bit and get to know each other.
I'm happy you're coming to London. I hope one day we'll be friends.
One day we're gonna be friends. Welcome to Canada.
Have a great time.
Welcome to Canada.